Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Living Better with Joe and Kat podcast. This is podcast number 5 of the podcast. In today's podcast, we're going to be doing a little bit of a freestyle, just having some general chit-chat, so I hope you guys enjoy. And Kat, why don't you go ahead and kick it off for us?
Hey, everybody. First of all, I just want to start off with, it has been a busy week, and there's been a lot going on. When I was doing the sorting out of items for my kitchen island, which I gave you guys a little tour. It was quick, sweet, and simple on the video. But I also went through a lot of recipes, and it was like a little time capsule opening it up from like 20-something years ago. And I have I've been cooking some things, blasts from the past all week. Have you enjoyed eating what you've been having all week, Joey?
My God, I just drool everywhere. It's so good. All the different dishes you
What have you guys had this week?
Good.
Well, I made like an Asian salad. We got the salad mix from Costco, but I added in some extra stuff. On the recipe book, I'm going to make Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. That stuff's in the fridge. We've just been busy for the last couple days, so it's been put on the back shelf for cooking. But I have all the stuff. You excited to get some Philly cheesesteak? How about you, Steven? You going to come over and eat with us?
I mean, I said I'd try it just to see how it comes out. It sounds
I think
nice.
it sounds awesome.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used the Instapot, and I made some shredded pork chops. I thought they this is embarrassing, but we were going through the freezer, and I thought that Joey was pulling out some chicken breasts that had a little bit of frost burn on them. They were just in a Ziploc bag. And I was like, oh, just give me those chicken breasts because I'm going to make some chicken enchiladas out of this recipe pile of stuff that I have. And after it defrosted, they were actually pork chops. So I'm going to make shredded pork chops.
But they still worked out.
With the chicken casserole. I haven't cooked it yet. It's going to be cooked.
Shredded pork chops, interesting. Are you going to sous vide the pork chops, or what's your plan?
No, I just put them in the Instapot and cooked them up with like some green chilies, onions, and garlic.
Yum.
The house smelled good. Joey came in from work going, what'd you make? And I was like, stay out of it. It's for another dinner.
But once you get one of those dinners that are just so good, you just expect more and more and more.
Don't get greedy.
You raise the bar up. Oh, my gosh. Anyhow, I thought they were all absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed every one of them.
Yeah. Well, and then since the new year, Stephen has really... he's heard a lot about intermittent fasting, and he listens to another really popular podcast. And that host has really, showed him how to do some intermittent fasting. And there's different styles. You can do it's 18-6. Is that the number, Stephen? I
mean, to each their own. They have different ones you can do.
I think it's like
but I'm doing 18-6.
So tell them what it is.
What is that? I'm eating from like 5, 6, 7, 8 to 9, 10. So yeah, 5 to 10. It's actually 5 hours. So what would that be? That'd be 19 and 5.
19.5.
But that's what I've been doing, and it's a 7 days a week sort of thing, and just trying to maintain calories within that amount of time, and then not eating for the rest.
So
and
19 hours a day you're not eating.
I'm not eating. I'm
and
either
5 hours a day you do eat.
Yeah, and I'm usually setting on the time that I'm up. I'm going to be eating kind of like in the mid part of my day, and then at nighttime, I'm just trying not to eat as much as I can, and then I'm sleeping the rest of the time.
Well, you and Joey have a business where you work in the evening. So when we talk about the times that we eat, it's because we have it shifted because of a business that we own.
we have night owl schedules, so it's just more pertinent for us we eat a little bit later.
But you just limit yourself to that zone.
Yeah,
of
but
time.
it's as long as you follow that time, you're good. And it's not just eating in that time zone, but also eating well and healthy. For me, it's eating more vegetables, more meats. I know for a while you and Joe had tried doing keto. Isn't that right, Joe?
Mm-hmm. Keto.
And how did that make you feel for doing the keto for as long as you did it? Could you feel a difference or a change in how you felt?
I felt like I had more energy.
Right. And so that's what I'm feeling by just eating the meats and vegetables and limiting out carbs. I'll still eat rice because I love rice.
Oh, God. So
but it's limiting myself to how much rice I'm actually eating and trying to fill my plate with more vegetables and like actual meat. Or protein, should I say. And that's been really nice. I'm losing a little bit of weight, but...
Well, you're looking good.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to follow, and it's a little bit different than what you're doing. But how about you tell everybody, how your intermittent fasting is a little bit different than what I'm doing, and both ways work, but they work in different ways, I suppose.
Yeah, so the kind of intermittent fasting that Joey and I are doing, because we live in a separate house as Steven. Steven has an apartment and we have our house. It's real close to each other, so we see each other frequently. But the kind of fasting that we're doing is a little different. On Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, we have what we're calling reset days. And we're eating 800 calories or less on those days and trying to get 50 grams of protein and 20 grams of fiber. And the protein's easy for me to get. And how about you?
I love it. Meat, vegetables, I love it.
Yeah, the protein's easy. I'm finding hitting that 20 grams of fiber a day to be my challenge. I'm thinking I almost need to get some Metamucil or something so that I can get that fiber level up.
Where did you hear about the Reset program itself?
It was just an advertisement on the internet, and I thought, I like keto, and I also like Plant Paradox. I've kind of melded both of those together.
So you're hitting it from multiple different angles, trying to make a diet that works best for you and your situation.
We were definitely eating healthier, and what I love about the diet that we're on is it seems like for me, I don't know what it is for you or Steven or anybody else out there, but I find if I eat more protein, then that sugar goes away. I don't crave having a chocolate chip cookie or ice cream cone or whatever. So that's what seems to work for me.
Yeah, but to get your sweet fang tamed down, we've been doing a lot of berries.
Strawberries, blueberries,
I try to get like pineapple, stuff like that at the store. Mm-hmm. Even getting apple juice or orange juice, I know it's high in sugar, but compared to drinking soda or something like that, I think having a glass of apple juice, and not like a big hefty one, but a reasonable amount, has been nice for filling that sugar.
Yeah.
And I was telling you a few days ago that I had ate that cereal. What was it?
Honey Bunch of Oats.
Yeah. Right, and I loved that cereal as a kid, and I hadn't had it for like maybe a year or so, and so I bought a box when I went shopping, especially after I'd been doing this meat and vegetables only sort of thing.
It was a treat.
And when I poured the bowl and had it, I felt like I was eating cotton candy. I had no idea it was that sweet, and like even when I ate it before, I thought that was just normal. So like when other people from other countries say that like our food's really sweet or really salty or whatever, I get that now.
Now you have a
But
tangible.
I had no idea beforehand, because that's what I was just used to. So if anybody's listening, I really urge you to try and kick out the sweets for like a month or two, and then try bringing it back in, slowly. And if you're having troubles with your weight or overeating, those sorts of things, after it's gone for a little bit, it's easier to kind of step back in slowly and realize really what you were getting.
I like tasting the flavor of food instead of it just being over-processed with sugar or overdone with salt. Pardon me. I like the taste of what it is we're eating so that you can get those different notes and textures on your palate.
Agreed.
And, Joey, he had a little bit of an accident with some cereal last week, too. He got up in the middle of the night.
I want to hear about it.
What'd you do, Joey? This is your walk of shame.
My walk of shame.
What'd you do?
Okay, guys. Like other people out there.
Don't tell me it was a reset day.
No,
he did not.
He wasn't a reset
on
day.
On a non-reset day, he overcompensates.
Overindulged in honey bunches of oats.
Oh, those are always good.
Mom filled that container full, and it's about down to about a third now.
Wow.
And I wake
How
up.
many bowls did you have?
In one night, he ate 2/3 of 2 boxes that go in the container.
That's like 5 bowls of cereal, ain't it?
I know.
He was eating Jethro-sized bowls.
Really bad.
Did you have a bellyache the next morning?
I did. The next morning I got up. My belly hurts so bad, I'm just like, oh, hell, I can't do this anymore. This is not good.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So. I got to tell you that Joey, he's kind of like a raccoon. He gets up in the middle of the night and he likes to go foraging. And in the morning time, he'll wake up and he'll just be, like hugging his belly and going, I shouldn't have done it.
And every day we tell him, Joey, you shouldn't have ate that food the night before, but it's that inner raccoon that's hard to break away those tendencies.
I've definitely gotten better about not doing that.
But do you find that if you have like a well-balanced meal that's not overindulging in like the grains like you were with the cereal, if you have some proteins, a good amount of vegetables, and a little bit of grain, that you don't wake up with a bellyache? That if it's more balanced?
I would say so. Yeah, because my sweet thing is now that I go get the berries. I'll eat strawberries or blueberries or raspberries, and that seems to take away the craving of getting up and
you don't eat like 80 strawberries in one night, do you?
No, but
He eats about a cup or two.
I do about a cup or two of
Okay.
berries. Yeah.
It's
It's
like this, not
reasonable.
like the cereal.
And if I know that they're getting ready to go bad, and you know I'm not going to let food go bad unless I just have no choice. That if mom doesn't eat them, I'm going to eat them.
Of course.
That means eating up the whole container so they don't go bad.
It's
I'm
like
gonna
a
eat up the
meal
whole
in
container.
itself.
Sacrifice yourself.
Yeah, what a sacrifice, huh?
I have to say though that since for probably the last 3 weeks that we've been doing the reset days, you have not been getting up as frequently and eating in the middle of the night.
No.
We had bananas that we need to do something with, and so I made some banana bread because I had all those recipes out,
God, that was
and
so
it was
awesome.
Nana's banana bread.
And
It
good.
was good.
I had a package of walnuts that I bought at Walmart over the holidays, Thanksgiving, and
They needed used up.
And I told Kathy, I said, we need to use these walnuts up. How about you put some in the bread? So I sat there and cracked a whole
There you go.
cup or two of walnuts, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, we had some time in the kitchen together this week cooking. But anyway, he got up in the middle of the night, and it wasn't a reset day, so he was taking advantage, and he ate nearly a loaf of banana bread in the middle of the night. Again, he comes stumbling out of his room, hugging his belly. Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
You know, I gotta say too that so I just got a Sous Vide machine this week. You know, I told you guys both about
How's that
right?
working out for you?
It's working out really well. So I
can't wait.
went online and we'll make a video about this maybe on Mondays or maybe some other time. But it was a Sous Vide machine that I think we paid $40 for. I paid $40 for.
That's cheap.
And yeah, compared to the other ones online, you know, there's ones that are like almost $300, but you know they have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all those.
They
fancy
basically
things.
do the same thing as
It does
what
the
you
same
got
thing
without
the
the
way
gadgets.
cheaper. Exactly.
Right.
Got all those bells and whistles that
Right.
I don't really think you need anyway. So you know, you set the temperature on it, plug it in, and it goes after you set the timer. And I found that I put a steak in last night. And I could barely eat anything else besides just that steak because the protein and the fats in that made me feel so full. Where eating just, you know, I could have, you know, 5 bowls of cereal like Joe over here, and you don't feel it all. It's like after the first bowl, you want more and more because it doesn't fill you up. And so I'm with you there. You know, it just the proteins though I find that have been really helpful, and the sous vide machine to cook those proteins. After using a sous vide machine, I don't think I'm ever gonna cook food differently.
Like on the grill,
like
like we used
like
to.
I didn't know pork chops were supposed to be moist inside until I had one. Oh god,
Thanks,
I said that
son.
word. But yeah, I cooked them out on the sous vide machine.
Damn it,
and
Mom, you
was
make
fun
chewy,
good.
chewy food.
Yeah, but even the steaks, you know, cooking them out medium rare, you can get a perfect medium rare or a rare steak or a well cooked
I
steak
like
if you
mine
prefer
medium
it.
well, and the sous vide that we've been doing, and then charring it.
Exactly.
They're so tender.
And I had to say, so when you guys came home, it was in Oklahoma. You learned about the flaming of the steaks. Tell us a little bit about that.
When we had my graduation weekend, we went to Ruths Chris Steakhouse.
Okay.
And we had never been there before because we don't have a franchise in our little mountain town that we have.
Even though we should.
I wish we did. It was delicious.
We got our Chick-fil-A in
Yeah.
for what it's worth.
True. Well, we're going to go back to Ruths Chris. It was expensive. I mean, to splurge $50 for the low end steak on their menu, that's a lot of money for me. I've got that inner
It was.
cheapskate.
We definitely
such
wouldn't want to go there
a
every
good
weekend.
steak.
It was such a beautiful experience, though, and
So
the waitress was
good.
nice enough to give us some of the tips of what they do, and so I've been trying to replicate that at home, and
It's hard though. It's hard to get that like they're Ruth Chris.
That
I
sweet
I
spot.
want to describe it for the viewers or
Okay.
the listeners that are listening. The steak I got a New York strip, and all of our steaks were similar, but when they came out, they were sizzling on the plate. Not only was the plate super hot, but the top of the steak was super hot.
Yeah.
And so as you cut it in all the way through the steak, if you were eating at a reasonable pace anyhow, as you would put the steak on your tongue, every piece would like sizzle. It wouldn't burn you though. It was like the
it was
perfect
like snap, crackle, popping on your mouth.
and
yeah.
then it was the perfect temperature, and it was perfect all the way through. Now we've ate at some expensive restaurants. When we went to we were at Tahoe, we were at
Yeah.
that casino, and they had that really fancy restaurant. Every plate was $60, $75.
It was outrageous
and
expensive.
and
yeah.
so all the food we ordered, I think it was mediocre for such a fancy restaurant.
Yeah.
And so
I think we cook better.
I was nervous going to, this place, what was it, Ruth Chris,
Ruth Chris.
because I was like, you know, I
don't
know
wanna
it's going to
be
be expensive, but
disappointed.
I don't want to get disappointed. I don't mind paying the money for it, but it's like, is it going to actually turn out as good as you hoped? And Ruth Chris did that.
Far exceeded my expectations.
But what was she saying, that they were cooking them on a 1800 degree oven? Or
They have like a broiler.
So see, when I went down to Oklahoma to visit my brother, I shared with him this Ruth Chris story, and I said, and he welds, and he's got a farm and a ranch, and he's got all the equipment. I was like, Bear, can you help me get an 1800 degree oven so that I can do this searing that this waitress described? Because she said they put it in an 1800 degree oven to sear it. They only put salt and pepper on it, nothing else. And he was just like, yeah, it's not a problem at all. But then we were talking about it, since I live in Oregon and he's in Oklahoma. I was like, well, even if he like welds me up like a box and has, how am I going to get it home?
Yeah.
So he did some research, and he found that the end of those fire, what do you call
weed
it?
torchers.
A
Weed torture.
A weed torch.
Yeah.
Now, we've had to buy a weed torch, not because we live out in the country and we're burning weeds on a fence line. We got one because we live in a snow zone, and we've had to use it to get the ice dams off of our roof.
Yeah, and it worked well.
So we already have that tool for a different purpose. And Bear has one because he has a ranch, and he actually has to go burn fence lines. So he looked up what the temperature was at the end of his weed torch, and it was at 2,000 degrees. And so I thought, if you're searing, you want it hot. So that's the very first time that we did that. So while he was researching the weed torch, that's when he stumbled across a Sous Vide website, and I think it was Sube Everything.
Everything on
Yeah.
YouTube. Shout out
That
to
guy's
Sube
magic.
Everything, guys.
Yeah.
Make sure to check them out.
He's
God,
awesome.
I love their videos. Their whole team
I will aspire to someday have videos as good as his.
is well polished too.
He's so good. But go there and look at his stuff. But anyway, we've started sous-videing at home, and it's almost like the kitchen is a new place to go play.
And that's what I was saying. Like pork chops, I'll never have pork chops again a different way.
Pan-fried or anything like
having
that.
that moisture inside as you eat them it makes it so much better. And then with steaks, how tender they get. When I first moved into my first apartment, I was, cooking steaks in the skillet in the pan that I bought at the store. And I mean, I could cook them, but they always came out chewy and tough.
Yeah,
and that's
dry.
not the sort of cooking I want to do for a partner or anybody like that. So being able to cook in the sous vide machine and make a tender steak. Now, the finishing part. You guys have tried the flame, and I think it's came out pretty good. But I think, in all honesty, I prefer the cast iron.
Okay, so see, this week with some meat, I did a tri-tip. I sous vide a tri-tip. So I broiled it, thinking, okay, I'm going to just sear it in the oven at the broil. I put it all the way to the top. The problem is that the broiling brought some of the juice out of the meat.
And kind of dried it out.
And it filled the kitchen with smoke. It looked like I was a newlywed cooking.
Oof. Now, doing that, did the steak get chewier at all?
I don't think so.
think so.
It seared
still
it pretty
good.
well. And then after I flipped it over and got both sides, I was challenged with the fluids that were coming out of the meat during the broiling process. So I'm not going to do that again.
I'm sure if there's any professional chefs listening, they're probably ripping their hair out
They
right now.
probably are
What are
going-
you doing? What are you doing? But, I got to
it's
say.
trial and error.
It is, and we're all learning, and that's why when we found out about the sous videing, we all love doing it and cooking our food that way and showing our friends and making these fantastic meals. And so what I do want to say about the cast iron, so we went to the store the other day and got that.
Yep.
Now, I've enjoyed the flame, and I have a torch, a butane torch upstairs here that I'll use to sear like the fat on the outside because the pan,
the part that the skillet won't touch.
because the skillet that I had it was one of those copper ones, and I wouldn't recommend those for frying steaks in. That's all I'm going to say. It didn't do the job well enough. So we went to the store and got the cast iron. And I can get that heated up to, a medium-high heat with oil in there. And I find that it holds the heat really well. And I was able to sear my steak. And I did the sides first, the fat sides, because that way the steak wouldn't bend too much. And then I would do each side. And I did that trick where you put some butter in there, like half a stick at least. And you start putting it on the
Baste it.
top and
Make it
basting it.
moist.
Now, I don't put any brines on my steak. I don't do anything beforehand. I cook them in the sous vide bag just the way they are. And then I'll salt and pepper them before I put them in the skillet and fry them up. But doing that and then doing the butter on there, It was really good steak.
Amazing.
I want to cook it for you guys, or
Yeah.
you guys should try using the cast iron downstairs, because I think you might be surprised that it's slightly better than using the flame.
I want to try that.
When we go camping,
It keeps the moisture in too.
when we go camping,
That would be a great opportunity.
The thing that I'd like to do for everybody is cook fried potatoes, because there's nothing better than fried potatoes cooked in a
And we
cast
have a
iron skillet.
huge cast iron skillet for the
And-
camp.
Well, I think it would be kind of
Amazing.
glamping, but we should take the Sube machine out with us.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I know some
We
of our,
can sous vide it ahead of time and actually take it and
that-
then just heat it up.
True, that is
That's
a
the beautiful
point.
thing because it's in a vacuum
I've
sealed
heard a
bag.
Google on Sous Vide Everything say that you can prepare these meals and that you can either reheat them in some water afterwards and then sear it, just so the core isn't
Well, I think
still
even for
chilly.
working families,
Yeah.
if you do food prep for your week, sous vide some chicken, sous vide some food, put it in
Yeah.
the fridge, and then you just have to bring it out,
You definitely
bring it up to temperature, and then you can sear it,
I
and
don't-
it makes your meal quick.
I
You're not
kinda-
having the 2-hour sous vide.
I kind of want to try it, but maybe we should sous
To
vide
see
something.
what the quality difference
and
is.
and not only that, but maybe put it in the freezer. What do you think about that, Joe? Do you think it would make it, if you took meat, sous vide it, and then put it in the freezer? Do you think it would
I might
make
make
it
it
more
chewy.
chewy, or
think it might
do you think
chewy.
it would make it worse?
Maybe.
I think it would also depend on how long you left it in there,
Yeah.
right?
I think for our audience, our viewers out there, excuse me, that don't know, we haven't talked about what we actually put the meat in, right? In the bag. What is that?
Tell us.
So that they know, Kathy.
It's a vacuum sealed bag. It's a food saver bag.
And you don't
Now,
have
so
to
it's
not
use
an
that.
ordinary-
You don't have to. You can use a Ziploc bag. But like one of the videos that I watched, as I'm learning these processes,
The
he's-
water.
he said that tools are just to make our lives easier.
Yes.
And he said you can use a Ziploc bag.
Yeah,
if
or you
want.
can use a heat plate
Or
or
but
whatever.
he says, the food saver bags,
Makes it a
it's
little
just
easier.
a tool, and it makes it better.
Well, it
because
also-
Ziplocs can leak.
True that.
Have we sous vide a piece of meat in one of the what'd you call them?
Ziploc?
A food saver bag.
The food saver bag. You know, the one that I'm going under the machine where you zip it.
Yeah, the food saver bags.
Okay. Have we actually put meat in the freezer and then pulled it back out and tried it?
No.
To see, I don't.
That's
think
what
I've
I'm saying.
ever tried
We
that.
No, I
could do-
have. I have. When
A sous
I
vide
thought
meat?
we had.
listen, the first I went to Costco and dumped a bunch of money on some pork chops and steaks, and I think even a roast or two, and I marinated them. And so the Christmas dinner steaks that we had that were just out of this world, the ones that we ate, I put marinade with vinegar, and that vinegar helped break the meat down, so it was like super soft.
But I gotta say, like, I don't use marinades at all with mine, and they still come out super soft too. That's why I want you to try them.
Well, I have some that are frozen from that batch of meat
I see
that
that
I want
already
to
done.
bring those out and defrost them and sous
then,
vide those
yeah.
to see what the quality comparison
Interesting, yeah.
comparison's going to be. But yeah, no, this week has just been like really fun cooking because we got that kitchen island done. If you guys want to
Yeah.
go over to our YouTube channel, you can check out the island. We built it, Joey and I. It's kind of a monument that we made for ourselves. This past year, we've had some, we've been married for 32 years, and we've had some bumps in the road, and we're doing some counseling, and we can even go into some of that in the future, some light stuff. I don't want to, go into heavy stuff.
We
But-
don't want to bore them.
You'd be surprised how many people have the same problems. They just don't talk about it.
Yeah, that's
True that.
true.
But the kitchen island was kind of a monument for he and I during our rebuilding and connecting with relationship. It gave us a project to do where we could expand our communication skills. And so
That's good.
when it is good. And when you see the video, Joey's walking through more the
Construction of
the
it.
constructions and the bones and that kind of stuff, even though we were both involved with it. And then even when I talk about the organization, he was involved with helping me organize it. And the kitchen has just really been a joy with
It
this
has.
new monument of our love. And it is. I mean, I don't mean to sound sappy, but that is. I mean, that kitchen is. It's kind of like a symbol of us overcoming a lot of problems.
I agree with
And
that. I agree
you
with
guys
that.
have built that kitchen up through the entirety of owning this house, and pretty much since you guys have been together in
All of
a
our
sense, right?
Yeah, we always have
Your
some sort of
adult life.
remodeling project or
but that's,
building
you
project.
guys always work really well together, and I
Thank
think
you.
with the course of healing, how you guys have been, it's been getting better and better, and
Every
Yeah.
I
day.
think you guys
Every
will
day is
find
a better day.
as you grow and ripen as human beings,
Yeah.
you'll be able to get through those things a lot
I'm glad
easier.
that you're able to observe us growing and ripening because see,
Oh, totally.
this monkey see, monkey do stuff. You're learning things that we're learning in our 50s that we didn't even know how to teach you and your
And I-
sister.
And
And
it's
honestly,
hard to
that's-
talk. It's hard to talk about the hard things. I mean, who wants to do that, right?
I mean, it's important to talk
It's
about
been
it,
worth it.
But yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Counseling is a good thing.
But I think, like she says, I've witnessed you guys go through a lot of growing pains, growing through your lives as a child. And I've learned a lot of lessons that I now apply, whether you meant to teach them to me or not.
They're there.
I apply them to my life now, especially some with finances, We were all young at one point. I'm still young, and making the correct...
Watching irresponsible behavior and then turning it around.
And so for me, I really try to be smart with my money, how I'm saving it, what I'm spending it on, but not obsessing of it, of course, because money's not everything in life.
No.
But
Time with your family.
I think it's been nice. But as humans, we teach our younger children what we do wrong, and they'll learn from it, and that's what evolves us as a human race, and that's why we are where we are today, where
Yeah.
Elon Musk is
I
shooting
agree.
rockets into the sky and
do you,
whatnot.
yeah, do you feel that, observing how we've been morphing with our communication style, do you see where that might be helpful and useful for you moving forward?
I think communication with you guys, I think that's different between every relationship.
Of course.
And so I can take a few pointers here and there, but there's no guarantee my partner will ever be identical or same, how you guys act.
Of course.
And same with me, because I'm a different person in myself. Although I do carry a lot of traits you guys have that, maybe if I'm upset when I wake up, I'm kind of grumpy in the mornings, I can just realize those sorts of things and try to correct it for people
Instead
around
of inflicting it on
me.
everybody around
And
you. Yeah.
because I know we can all have that problem as night owls, or me and you
Right.
especially, and not Joey as much. Oops.
Definitely not me.
Yeah.
I wake up actually pretty happy.
Yeah, you do, but you're more of
Unless
a
your belly aches.
you're more
Yeah,
of a
that's
morning
true.
person, yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys know what I'm saying. Anyway, yeah.
So what do we?
Well, this is where I think we need to tie off this little freestyle.
Yeah.
We're going to continue on with it, though, so you can tune in for the next one because we're on a roll. There's some more things that we want to talk about.
and we just want to talk about everyday life too. I love sitting here just doing that.
Yeah.
this is great.
Life experiences.
Well, I just want to remind everybody that you can find us on YouTube under Living Better with Joe and Kat, Joe, and symbol Kat. And we're also on the Apple Podcast and the Google Podcast. And the whole point of all of us doing this together as a family is that we want to live better with love, peace, and happiness, and
Amen.
just share our light with everyone else.
Amen. So what are we
We're
doing?
going to come back for part 2.
So
of
we'll
our
catch you
podcast.
guys on the next podcast. That'll be a continuation of this one.
Yes.
That'll be podcast number 6. Thank you guys
Yes.
very much. We'll see you soon.